Hello, beautiful people. So I don't mean to be inconsistent. I don't know why I get so busy, but I promise it's what I'm working on. But anyway, I finally got this episode out. I did record it a little bit ago, and then, as always, life kind of took over. So it turns out Quinn has already had the appointment that I started out talking about. It was not sedated as I spoke of, and it went great. So there was that update. And also, she hadn't been crawling yet. That was like a month ago, but she's definitely a crawling machine now. And she's lifting herself up and not walking yet, but still, she is moving and grooving every single day. This episode, I don't know, the first 20 minutes, I just talk about self-worth. Then I get into a little bit of conspiracy, like what the fuck was Q, right? Just a little bit. And then I spoke about, just the spiritual community in general, especially the medical medium guy. Wow, that was like a messed up story about a month ago. I don't know if you heard about it. And then how, this whole spiritual community is targeting the most vulnerable of us all. And I just want you to be very mindful, very, very aware of what is happening in the spiritual community, because unfortunately they're coming for you, and it's just a lot of scamming out there. So if you are interested in any of that, please stay tuned. Thanks. Bye. I have always struggled to find my place in this world. Maybe the true beauty of this life is that I don't fit in. So welcome to my little corner of the universe. This is season 3 of Basement Philosophies, where I share my life and my experiences and allow others to share their experiences as well, in an effort to help others feel less alone in this world. This is my story. Good morning. Well, it's morning when I'm recording this. I started a support group, but no one ever shows up, so I had some time. Thought I would record. I hope you all are doing well. Things are a roller coaster over here, as always. Being a mom is like a never-ending roller coaster ride, and I'm just hanging on for dear life. So Quinn had her appointment. Everything seems fine. We couldn't get the echo because she was far too traumatized to remain calm. So we will be doing another echo in a month, as long as no new symptoms are developing, but she would need to be sedated for it. And I don't know, the amount of stress that appointment put her under, it just really upset me. That was not only is it terrifying, these appointments for me, but to know that she's so scared, so stressed in those moments, it is hard. So from about 3:30 to 5, she was screaming, and she was so upset, and there was I almost broke. I was almost lost my mind. At one point, Armando had to take her because they needed to weigh her. Anything upset her at this point, and he just finally took her and said, let me go weigh her. And it was just horrible. And it just got me very worried, and it got me thinking, what can I do for my little infant who has medical trauma? So I'm actually going to talk to a few different people about some possible things to help give her some relief. And so I will get back to you all on that. But as for her diagnosis, everything looks good. Her heart sounded good. Given her symptoms and lack thereof, it lets the doctor know that her body is getting the oxygen that it needs. And given that she was able to calm herself down after becoming very stressed out, was also a good sign. He just couldn't confirm anything because of the echo. So we will be going in a month to get that sedated echo, and just praying that everything is fine. She will have to have open heart surgery again, but not for years and years. As long as everything looks good, it'll be like another 10 to 15 years. So honestly, it's about managing and just looking for new symptoms and things like that. So once we get the sedated echo, we'll know more. But as of right now, she's really thriving. I don't like to say that she's behind. She's a little smaller than other babies. She's not crawling or walking yet, but she's definitely moving. She's definitely more energetic. She's definitely a different baby. High energy. Her personality is out. She is a wild woman. And at one point, I was like, do I have a mean baby? But I think it's just her. It's just like, she's not mean. She's learning. She's growing. And so it's going to be great. But, this week was just really hard. I was just very worried about this appointment. And then, I don't know, it's like I was so super focused on that I was a little behind on work, definitely behind on household duties. Like, don't look in the laundry room. And I'm thankful that my partner isn't saying anything. Otherwise, I would have to punch him in the face. But I feel like I can get back on board again. I don't know. I've just been really tired, very stressed out. This last semester of school is just going to be very stressful. It is putting a strain on the family. And I can only pray that my partner continues to be understanding and supportive just for a little bit longer until, I can get a different schedule. But for now, it's pretty tough. And, I just can't get Quinn's digestive system regulated, and it's just this whole solid food thing. Oh, God, it's just a nightmare. She's not wanting purees, but solid foods, it's like there's only a few things, and I'm scared to give her some things, and I don't know what to give her. And like I said, she's always constipated now, and I get so overwhelmed, and I feel like such a bad mom in these moments, and I fucking hate it. I just cry every day because I don't know, feeding her has just become so hard for me. So she's still eating, she still has breast milk and everything like that. It's just, I know that she wants more. She's really interested in what I eat, but because she's constipated all the time, I'm just like, what the hell? I'm like, I give her all the foods, and it's not working, and she's hydrated. I don't know what to do. So it's just very, very, very frustrating. It's just, it's hard. It's very hard. But I'll figure it out, and she will be fine. I just, her sleeping's a little messed up right now. Partly my fault. So I don't know why she was up at 4 a.m. today, but she was, and I was just trying to keep it dark and quiet because I want her to understand, like, no, we don't wake up at 4 a.m. No, like, it's not playtime kind of thing. So I'm hoping that's not going to be like a new thing that she does. So I don't know. I'm trying. I'm back in therapy. Some things are getting uncovered there. I'm trying to approach my life a little differently, and that's changing the dynamics of, my life and the way things are, and that's just causing a whole another set of issues, and it's just a lot. And school is just going to get more stressful, and I know Armando's just going to get more frustrated, and it's just very hard right now. But it will all work out the way it needs to. I'm just trying to stay grounded. I'm trying to take deep breaths. I'm trying to take care of myself. I've lost so much weight, and not in a good way. My clothes kind of fall off me, so I'm just trying to eat and take care of that. Try to take care of myself, nourish my body. It's hard. It's so I don't know why my brain is like, but it's hard to eat nourishing food. No, it's not. I don't know why I'm like that. It's not hard to eat nourishing foods. In fact, I would feel a whole lot better Now it's just not even eating like bad foods for me. It's not eating at all. So, I choke down things because I'm just not hungry, and it doesn't help anybody. It's not helping me. It's not helping Quinn. I've lost all this weight. My clothes just fall off of me. It's sad, really. Especially when people are like, oh, you're so skinny. You look so great. I'm just kind of like, yeah, I'm so stressed and I don't fucking eat. You'd be skinny too, Yeah, it just doesn't feel good. Just like it doesn't feel good when people are like, oh, your baby's so tiny. She's so tiny. Well, yeah, she has TOF. But I'm not going to tell strangers that, so I'm learning so much like about being a mom, because I was that person too that would say all the shitty things. And I'm so glad that I know now not to say all of those things that could be very hurtful to people. So I don't know. It's all a learning experience. We can only just do better than we did the day before. So I did eat a little breakfast this morning. That is one way that I'm starting to be a little better. So I'm just going to keep on trying to just eat. And I did my Viome test. I found out all of this cool stuff about me. And then, they make vitamins, and I don't know if they're legit or not. And I also haven't taken them because I'm breastfeeding still. And I feel like I need to be careful about what I am ingesting. So I haven't started the vitamins, but they give you like this nutrition list of the foods to avoid, foods to enjoy, foods to minimize, things like that. And so I'm slowly starting to implement those things, just small attainable goals that I'm trying to do, because if I take on too much, I really do fail. Like if I get too overwhelmed. And so I just do small like things. So today had high protein breakfast, and not a lot. It was like a little thing of cottage cheese. I know it's not enough, but it's a start. It's a win. I'm going to celebrate it, because that's what I'm going to start doing also, is celebrating even the smallest wins, because I don't know, self-worth is playing it's impacting my life in such a huge way, and not a good one. It's funny because it's not funny, but I have a friend of mine. She's a colleague, and she's in my internship with me. So she is the complete opposite of me. So she is a very strong woman, and she just knows her worth. Like, it is my goal. It is my goal to be like her. And we were talking a lot last week. It's funny because we just like talk about each other's therapy sessions in depth. Like, I love her so much because I can literally tell her fucking anything, and there's just no judgment. Like, we will say all the horrible things that we're thinking to each other with no judgment, and it's like so refreshing. And she's one of my newer friends, and I'm so grateful for her. And I will just tell her all of the terrible things, all the terrible things in my head, or even the most like embarrassing things. And like, so she knows, like, a lot of my work that I do in therapy is about my self-worth. So there are people like me who will give and give and give. They'll give in such a way that a tool like that I use apparently I give so much, I give everything I have in hopes that you won't see that I have nothing to offer. Like, that is like my core belief. How sad. I know. Even talking about it, I'm like, gosh, I'm so mean to me. But I don't mean to be that way. It's just something that was learned for whatever reason. And there was this particular instance where she, something about this field that a lot of people don't know is that associates are exploited and taken advantage of in a very, very big, very terrible way. So that was eye-opening. Nobody ever tells you that. So when I learned that my site wanted to take this very large percentage of what I would be making monthly, it sent me into a spiral. For her, she's in the same field, same program, and her site even more wants to take an even bigger chunk. than me. So comparably, her situation is a lot worse. And she didn't get lost in it. And I said, how? I was like, how? She was like, I don't know. She's like, this is not the only place. Like, she had solutions, right? She's like, this is not the only place. I'm bilingual. All these things. She had like all of these traits that she listed off. And she said, I have a lot to offer, you know? And my brain, the first thing my brain said is like, I'm not bilingual. Okay, I'm going to go learn a new language. Like, and I told her that. She's like, are you fucking kidding me? But it's true. And I'm still want to learn Spanish. You know, my daughter is Hispanic, part Hispanic. So I do want to learn Spanish with her. But aside from that, like, seriously, even now, my brain is like, but yeah, if you were bilingual, you know, you'd have something to offer also. I believe the work was to find out why I give so much of myself. And I believe it's just what I said, to cover up that core belief that I have of myself that I really have nothing to offer. And so I just give and give and give. The amount of self-sacrifice that I do is just at an enormously unhealthy level. So I think I finally figured out the why. And now I'm just trying to, you know, figure out, okay, what do I do now? Like, okay, I've gotten to the bottom. Now how do I get out of this? How do I fix this kind of thing? And even when I ask myself, like, what do you have to offer? I can't think of anything. How sad is that, right? And I know that there are good things. Of course there are. But I've given myself these terrible, terrible labels that I've lived with for years and years and years. And so it's a bunch of unlearning. And I bring all of this up because one of the things that I'm implementing is celebrating even the smallest wins. And it was like a meeting that I went to here at my work, because a lot of work that is done when you are a therapist is on yourself. So not only have I been changing so significantly as a person, you know, as I go through this process, it's just a constant change. But anyway, in this workshop thing we had, I felt very defeated. I was very tearful. I just, you know, we were talking about kind of like the anxiety and the anxiety crashes that often happens. You know, you kind of hit a wall. Like, you take the fast and easy route and boom, you know, you hit the wall. But if you take the harder but worth it route, yeah, there's ups and downs, but you ultimately, you know, get to, you know, whatever your goal is, the freedom that you're seeking, the self-respect, all of that stuff. And we were just kind of talking about that, and then she was mentioning like what a crash feels like, and it's literally everything that I'm fucking feeling. And so I just started crying, and she's like, Brittany, what is wrong? And I said, I am crashing now. I'm in the crashing right now. And I don't recall, like, I never really realized the pattern. It's just I don't really realize that I'm taking the fast or the easy way. It never really feels that way. It just feels like I'm always hitting a wall, and I can't seem to break out of that loop. So it was a very eye-opening experience for me, but it's very scary for me. And I don't know, it made me feel very sad and overwhelmed and stressed. And it's just like, I cannot do anymore. There are people in my life who need me to do more, but there's nothing more I have left to give. Like, there's nothing there. So what do you do when somebody needs you to do more and you don't have any more? And it's just, it was a very scary realization for me, because like, I can't do anymore, because I'm pretty much barely surviving now. And I know it's just a chapter and it's temporary, but I can't help but want to be free of this. And, you know, you have to start small, because, you know, when you talk about self-worth, it's very complex and it's many layers, and I'm only scratching the surface. So, celebrating some of the smallest wins is one of the reasons, or is one of the things that I'm doing. And I told the group, it was like a group of us, and I said, I can celebrate the smallest wins, but it doesn't feel real to me. It feels stupid. It feels like I'm just going through, the motions, and how long do I have to do it? And one of my colleagues said something that really stuck with me, and I'm going to share it with all of you in hopes that it will have an impact on you if you need this message. She said, what if you don't give it a timeline? She said, what if this is something that you implement into your life forever? Like this will be just a part of your life. So instead of saying, I'm going to celebrate the smallest wins until I start feeling better, instead you just say, I'm going to start celebrating the smallest wins. And then, maybe my life will change. It definitely won't hurt, right? And I was just like, but it doesn't feel, genuine. It feels like I'm lying, kind of like an affirmation. It's like why I don't like affirmations. They just don't feel good to me sometimes. And one of the supervisors, she said, wouldn't you want, she's like, if you're your daughter's role model, wouldn't you want her to see you celebrate, the smallest wins? She's like, if your daughter did something like graduate college, would you tell her, oh yeah, but everybody, like a lot of people do that? And I said, no, I wouldn't do that. She's like, so wouldn't you want to be a role model and celebrate yourself so that your daughter can see that, wow, it's so awesome that you can celebrate yourself. Like, it's so awesome that I did this thing. And she sees you do it so that she knows that she can celebrate herself as well. And I really liked that image. It made it more believable for me. And so that's just a tool that I've, kind of put it out there. And that's what I'm going to try now. I mean, it's a work in progress because I haven't done so good this past week. But okay, now that the doctor's appointment is over, I can kind of, take a deep breath. So that's what I'm going to be trying. And, we will see what happens, So it's not about the time frame. I get so lost in time too. And I always feel like I'm too late in the game, too late. But I'm not too late. I'm just where I need to be. Because I'm in the present moment, and I have to keep reminding myself, because that's one of my biggest goals now, is just to be more present, to be there for my daughter, because I can get lost in the fear and the stress, but then I'm missing out on my life, and I'm missing out on my daughter, and I don't want to miss out anymore. Yes, there's always things to worry about. There's always things that are scary, but I need to be in this moment to experience my life, because it's passing me by, and I don't want that. It's too short. So that is like what I've been working on. But on a lighter but not so lighter note, because that's not even what I wanted to talk about. Some things just gotta come out, I guess. I always like looking through Instagram, and I've noticed, you all know, and if you don't know, I get lost in the conspiracy world. Like, I thought Q was fucking real, but then that turned out to be bullshit too. So, I mean, I feel like it is. Maybe not. I don't. What I've discovered going through all of those rabbit holes is that I don't know anything, and I most likely never will. So I just kind of gave up and said I was going to start living my life, and whatever comes will come. And I don't really have much control over it, right? So it's not necessarily switching on to autopilot, because I don't want to live that way. It's just the bigger things, like the world ending. Well, if that's going to happen, I can't stop that. So I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not a bad person. I want what's best for the world. But I also, I don't want to become so disconnected from my reality that it turns into like a mental illness. There are people thinking that they're aliens from different universes, and I don't know, maybe we are, but can we please stop? Like, you're a human and you're on Earth. Like, you have no way of knowing if you're an indigo star seed baby or what the fuck ever they're saying. You have no clue. And this whole 5D ascension and your energy, and it's all bullshit when you really dig into it. Because it's these, I mean, you can look on everywhere and there's another coaching brand like trying to coach you into how to manifest $1 million in like a day or what. That's exaggeration, but you know what I mean. It's like these, and then when these coaching things don't work out because they're bullshit, you then get blamed for the fact that it's bullshit. You know, it's just like my friend. She's dating right now, and I gotta say, the dating pool out there kind of sucks. Like, I'm so sad for her. She can't really find a dude. Some of these dudes, like, really suck. And, you know, I'm just like, man, I am sorry. These dudes suck. And on the other side of the coin, she had a friend who does not have her shit together, like, at all. Like, has no place to be acting like this. But turns around and tells her that her energy is low, or fucking she's letting out some sort of energy frequency, and that is what's causing her to attract these men. I don't know, like, that's just not a very supportive thing to say, whether it's true or not. Like, that is just not supportive. Like, oh, you're like, she's putting herself out there after a very, very toxic, very bad situation, like a psychopath narcissistic situation. Like, now she's putting herself back out there, and that's what you're gonna say to her? Like, no, first of all, way to go for you for being strong enough to get out there. And second off, no, these douchebags suck, and that's not your fault, okay? Why you're attracting them, I have no idea. Like, I don't know. I don't think anybody else knows either, but I most certainly don't think that it's helpful to tell somebody that their energy frequency is sucking, so that's why they're attracting these terrible men. I don't know. But yeah, it's just all of these people getting scammed. Like, scammers be scamming, baby. And it's like all coming to light. And I bring it up because I heard about the Anthony Williams medical medium guy. Okay, so I kind of fell for this guy's bullshit too. And even if it sounded like bullshit, I still, you know, I just wanted to believe in the magic in the world, and I still do. I don't want to be cynical. But, you know, he was one of the, yeah, it was just kind of like this new interesting thing, and I found him in a very dark time in my life, and so I kind of did. I got caught up in the stuff, you know, and I did one of his cleanses. I did the liver cleanse, and you know what? It did. It got rid of these weird rashes I was getting. But when I look back on it, I don't think it's because this dude is a channeler and channeling special messages from God. I think that I stopped drinking and eating shit, and then ultimately my body began to heal, obviously. I also jumped on that celery juice train because, you know, why not? But it does. It makes you shit a lot, and ultimately has no real, I don't think it doesn't really do anything. And also it tastes disgusting. I think since you like shit a lot, people think that you're detoxing. I just don't think it's a good idea. Oh my god. But yeah, I fell for it too. So now, like, and when I look back, he says he channels information, and he gets these downloads or whatever, and a lot of people have started to say that, and I don't know if you've seen these people doing the whole light language thing online, but It's very silly to me. And maybe, you know what? Maybe it's because I am in the wrong frequency, like they say. Like people tell me that. Because I have said it. I'm like, this looks silly. And people are just like, you just don't get it. You're still in 340 or whatever the fuck I am. I'm just like, okay. Yeah, I never understood any of that. Now, I do sound cynical, I know. And maybe because I'm just in a very, very hard chapter in my life. I'm not meaning to sound cynical, because if people believe this stuff, then maybe they have a good reason. But I can't help but think that they just saw some stuff on the internet and they're desperate to be a part of something. I know that that's always been my issue. I've always just wanted to be a part of something. I wanted to find a place where I fit. And still, I don't fit anywhere. And now it's more about cultivating friendships and relationships with people that accept me for who I am, and that I'm becoming comfortable in my own skin, and hopefully like people can just deal with that. And if you can't, then you just can't be in my life. And that's ultimately what it's come down to. While it is nice to find people that share the same some of the same beliefs as me, while that can be refreshing, because it's so exhausting to be different, this different, starkly different from everyone. But ultimately, and I've come to this I accepted this a while ago, that there's really not really a place for me, but I noticed that I'm still seeking in a way that I just want to find my place. But I guess I am in my place. I'm just me, and I can only just be me, and I can't be more than that. So this is me being me, and she's not pretty all the time. She's broken sometimes. She doesn't do the laundry sometimes. I do get overwhelmed being a mom. I don't have it all together. I can't keep it all together. I'm not girl boss status. Like, I'm not good with boundaries. I'm just me, and I'm figuring it out. And if there are people there that can be with me while I do that, then I'm grateful. I'm grateful for those moments. But yeah, it's just been, it's crazy. But I bring up this medical medium guy because, like I said, I did a liver cleanse and it worked. But yeah, of course it worked. I was eating fruits and vegetables and not drinking bottles of wine and eating fast food. Obviously I was unhealthy, and when I switched my diet up, yeah, my body began to change. Duh. I didn't need Anthony William to tell me that. But when you lack self-worth, you often can't rely on your own, knowledge, your own choices, your own opinions. You think other people have the information because you couldn't possibly. But gotta tell you, it's not the way it is. For a long time, I thought that, we all have intuition. And for some reason, I just thought people were more in tune with their intuition than I was. And it was always going to be that way. My intuition's there. It's why I knew that something wasn't quite right with my daughter, even if I wanted to ignore it, right? I didn't, I always knew that something wasn't quite right. I could look at her. I could tell. I was getting increasingly more worried, and I just knew something was wrong looking back now. And that was my intuition telling me that something was wrong. So it's there. It's just that I don't trust myself because of this low self-worth that is impacting my life so severely right now. And that's really hard to admit. It's hard to admit that I have that low sense of self-worth. And so I too look externally for this validation, for people to help me, for the answers, when really I just, it's not that difficult. I just need to listen to me, what I need. What do I need now? I need to eat. That's what I need. It's not this big complicated thing. I need to eat food and take care of myself so that I can better take care of my daughter. And it's just kind of eat, Brittany. That's what you need to do. Anyway, sorry, tangent, but getting back to this medical medium guy. So a lot of these people are coming to light, like a lot. These coaches, these cults, these people are just starting to speak out. They're becoming less afraid, and I'm so happy because people are getting scammed, exploited. Oh, it's awful. And I think this time has come where it's like enough. I started getting, not listening to some of these people because I just didn't like their message anymore. It felt very judgmental, very toxic, and feel good. That's what he calls himself. Was one of those people, and I didn't like it anymore. It was something about narcissists. He had a message about narcissists, and I just did not agree with it. It was so horrible because when you are abused by a narcissist, I mean, it's just awful. It will destroy a person. And so for him to give whatever toxic message that he gave, and for me to feel in my body like, oh, that's wrong, that's awful. And then for him to go and circle back and be like, if you don't like this message, it's because your vibration is not high enough. So ultimately, all of these people making a ton of money off of these very vulnerable people, they're very toxic, very damaging. They often trigger trauma in people and don't know what to do with it, and often leave people feeling much, much worse. But hey, at least they made $1, right? Oh, it's horrible. And I just want you to be very aware that the spiritual community, the New Age community, all of this channeling and downloads and shit like that, be careful with it. And, that article came out about Anthony Williams. I don't even want to call him medical medium anymore. About, the girl who ultimately died, I believe, of breast cancer because she was, I think, afraid to go see a doctor because he had, scared her so much. And ultimately, when her situation got too dire, she was too far gone, I guess. He cut off contact with her. Now, I don't know how true this story is, but if it is true, then that poor girl, and shame on him. Shame on all of these people taking advantage of vulnerable people. The world can be such a dark, dark place. And the self-help community, these people that are saying that they're channeling all of this shit. I think that if you need a message from the heavens or God or the universe, you're going to get it. And someone doesn't need to do that for you. There's too many people teaching us that we cannot rely on ourselves. And that has ultimately made us one of the most unhealthy societies ever, especially here in America. We think the pill's going to fix it, when really all we need to do is stop eating McDonald's, or go for a walk, drink some water. It's just, it's insane. No, we don't need the next big supplement when really we just need to start eating nourishing foods. And it's so, and it's so easy to get lost in it. But I think that if you just make small attainable changes, if you have clean water to drink, then, drink it. Get in the sunshine for a little while. Nobody's saying bake out there. If you don't feel comfortable with sunscreen, fine. Do I think seed oils do play a role in unhealthy cancers and things like that? Yes. So I personally choose to stay away from seed oils. Now, if you don't, then that's fine. Who cares? Just read about it or don't. Doesn't matter. Yeah, our water has a lot of chemicals in it, but ultimately it's still better than drinking the water in Mexico, because whatever's in that water makes you super sick, right? So if you're drinking our water, if you're drinking water, any kind of water, instead of soda, I think that's a good change. It's so easy to get overwhelmed. Like, now people are saying, like, don't use toilet paper. And, well, no, I do agree, like, don't use tampons. Like, I really think those are bad. Like, especially if they're not, like, the natural kind. That's just my personal opinion. There are some things I still clear up because of my own, preference. But is it easy to try to steer clear of I kind of did. I started to get down a rabbit hole. But you know what? Dawn dish soap works the best for me. I like it, so I'm going to keep buying it. I'm still trying to find a detergent that I like because, you know what? They do disrupt your hormones. They can cause skin problems, things like that. But ultimately, you know what? I use Arm & Hammer right now. Apparently, it's one of the worst ones. But ultimately, our bodies are still designed to detox as long as we are taking care of our bodies. Do I want to put a heavier load on my body? No. But can I aid and help my body by eating a little better, drinking food, moving my body? Yes. I don't have to go crazy with it. I got really into Ashtanga yoga there for a while, and I still love my yoga practice. I do. But I ultimately found that I was getting very, very bad back pain. And as soon as I started doing my practice again, my back pain came back. And I just knew that there was something about that practice. And people will tell you, no, it's not the practice. It's not your fault, blah, blah, blah. But now it's coming to light that maybe, yeah, it is the fucking practice, We are so quick to blame ourselves, to try to find the next thing that's wrong with us, when really it is not us at all. And no, we don't need to go find a $1,000 a class coach to tell us how, to make $1 million. Like, no, you don't need that. What you need to do is find your joy, find your passion, and if you want to find a way to make money off of it, do it. I am just like anyone else. Yeah, I would love to have a quick fix to my finances, but I just don't think that there is. I think that you have to work hard, and not so hard that you're burnt out. Just, you have to do some work. And if you can manifest things and they just come to you, then I want somebody to contact me and tell me exactly how you did it, because I would like to do that. Because so far, no, that hasn't worked for me. Do I think vision boards work? I don't know. It seems like people get a lot of, results from that. So I do want to make a vision board just to see, But I do think that you have to do a little more than just make the vision board. I think you have to make choices and work towards something and make yourself resourceful. And that's been one of the hardest things for me, especially like surrounding money. But it all comes back to self-worth, worthlessness, all of these things. Of course, I don't think I'm resourceful because I don't even like myself. I think I have like nothing to offer. It's horrible. Like, saying it out loud is kind of therapeutic. I think that's why I keep saying it. And, but yeah. I just want people to be very, very open. Like, keep your eyes open. Be very aware. Because people are trying to scam you, take advantage of you, especially if you're desperate. I think in times of desperation, in times of being overwhelmed, one of the best things we can do is relax and get ourselves grounded. So however you decide to do that, what we need to all start doing is get back in our bodies. We seem to just be floating on autopilot, not really knowing where we're going. The wind just picks us up and takes us. And I think that once we start to get in our bodies, integrate, that's when the magic really starts to happen. That's when we start to get some control. So for me, I do my body scans. I try to do it every day, but so unpredictable. I try to do body scans, and I'm very aware now of the sense of urgency that I always feel. And because I'm always in this, state of urgency, my body is reacting to that. I'm always in fight or flight. So I cannot ever get relaxed. The cortisol never stops pumping. Therefore, it's impacting my body, my appetite, my sleep, my moods. It's just, I have to find a way to ground myself. And I'm really, really like starting to work on that by eating, by grounding, by breathing, and now by doing my little podcast and getting some time to do something that I love, because my days are spent doing it for everyone else, for my daughter, my clients, my partner, my home. And I'm not saying I hate all those things. It's just that I've forgotten myself along the way, and it's put me in a very, very tough place. I was always aware. I always try to prevent this, this position that I'm in. I tried to prevent this from happening. But even with my awareness, I still started to take the shortcuts to be like, oh, okay, well, maybe I'll get a little less sleep. There's no time to eat, so I won't do that. I'm very stressed out, blah, blah, blah. And then more and more and more, I put myself on the back burner, and now I'm here. And one of the hardest things about putting yourself back into the equation is that it begins to change the dynamic. People begin to act out in certain ways. So it's going to be a wild, difficult ride, but I think these changes are what need to be made so that I can continue to move forward and be the best that I can be for not only myself, but my family, because they deserve the best version of me. I'm so happy that you're here. If there's anything I can do for you, pray for you, if there's any prayer that I can do, please let me know, and I will be sure to make that happen. You can contact me, basementphilosophies@gmail.com. I welcome all messages, and I hope to hear from you all soon. I will talk to you all soon. Bye.